You know, as much as I love tractors, sometimes a tractor is just not the right tool for the job. And I don't really have to try that hard to find an excuse to use my skid steer either. And this is one of those scenarios. Now, for those of you that have watched the channel for a while, you know, a few years back, we had Jeff Sturgis out from Whitetail Habitat Solutions, and he had put together a habitat plan for my property, which I have been following loosely and slowly making those improvements as time allows. And this is one of the improvement areas that, well, it kind of kills two birds with one stone. So he had wanted me to, well, as I say this, it's kind of not exactly what he wanted me to do. He wanted me to make a little travel corridor along the edge of our property, well, the edge of our lawn area that's kind of into the brush and the marsh area for deer to travel along. And then, you know, set up a tree stand or two right along there that I could hunt. So it would be, you know, encourage the deer to go into the brushy side of it instead of coming out into the lawn where they'd be less likely to want to go. Well, I had planted recently, just this past year, a bunch of nice pines and spruce all along the edge to give our backyard some greenery in the winter months when everything else is otherwise dead and brown. But all of that brush had been creeping up closer and closer and more into the lawn area. And so I wanted to beat that all back as well. But it's a really awkward, uneven, kind of sloped off area that I can only assume when this house was built many years ago, the excavators or the landscape crew, when they were flattening and clearing things out, just kind of pushed stumps and logs and other debris. And then over time, other piles of sod and rock have just been dumped. And so it's created all this weird undulation and a crazy, goofy slope over there. And so a tractor was just not going to cut it. There was just no safe way to navigate this area, on top of the fact that it gets very wet in certain locations. And track steers, your track loaders, like my 333, while they weigh a lot more than a comparable tractor, that PSI is spread out and they tend to float a lot better than a tractor would and float over top of things. And I've also pushed those limits too many times and got stuck in my skid steer and my tractor and everything else. But this severe duty mower is the right tool for this job. Mowing down that trail, all that brush, beating things back, and I'm really, really pleased with the results. But if you can imagine a tractor going through here, I think it would have tipped over 100 different times, maybe got down to the muck and got stuck, and it just wasn't the right approach.